Hello and welcome to this episode of Pipeline to Profitability. I'm Alan Ferguson. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Service Success Academy. So today, I'm honoured to be joined by Billy Stevens. Billy is a serial entrepreneur, as well the CEO and founder of Sera Systems, Billygo, also the founder of Berkeys Plumbing and Air Conditioning. So today is a workshop. We're going to cover using software to improve profitability via efficiencies. We're going to debate the zero service fee, also touch on margin pricing versus flat rate pricing, and if time permits, we're going to discuss simplified incentive plans. So thanks for joining us. Looking forward to some of the questions that you're going to throw at us. And let's get into this podcast, shall we? So welcome, Billy. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say about where the industry is heading today. And when I put the marketing out to everyone, I said we're going to discuss efficiencies, which is the area that I'd like to focus on the most. We're also, I don't know how much time we're going to have to discuss memberships and margin pricing, but anyway. Here I am, Alan Ferguson. I want to introduce you to Billy Stevens. He's got an amazing story, an amazing product. And today is going to be about what you can do to improve the profitability of your business via technology and efficiency. So welcome, Billy Stevens.
Thanks for having me, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, so I'm Billy. Just wanted to introduce myself. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Thumbs up there. Everybody can hear me? Good deal. All righty. So thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to me. I appreciate it. I'm going to do everything in my power to give you some information here that you can take back with you and make some improvements in your business. A little bit about myself. I got into this industry back in the 90s. And borrowed $10,000 from my father-in-law and then built a pretty good sized business prior to much technology that was extremely profitable. And then was one of the beginnings of the PE firm. I was literally ground zero for this PE firm thing that's going on now. We're the very first company to actually put together a PE firm and launch that. And so I've been from like one truck all the way up to, all the things that you can do through PE and whatever. But one of the things that I really value my abilities on and my team's ability on is the fact that we figured out how to go to market efficiently versus just doing it the way we've always done it. And that's really what I want to focus on today is, when you have a company and whatever your revenue is, it doesn't matter, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, does not matter. There is enough money being made in that company already. The problem is we just don't get it to the bottom line because of inefficiencies. And so I've helped lots of contractors in my career and literally showed them that we were not going to grow the company $1 more than it did last year, but quadruple the profits at the same revenues. And that's really what we focus on at my company, Billygo, which is a plumbing, heating, air conditioning company that I built 4 years ago to use that as my test dummy, if you will, for our software. So, and I got back into the trades after retiring for a few years at a very early age. And I came back because I really wanted to help contractors. I really wanted to give back to contractors and let them experience what I've been able to experience in this industry, which is way beyond my wildest imaginations, what has happened for myself and hopefully for you guys as well. And so efficiencies, that's a broad word. It's a word that's very hard to spell for an efficient word, but it's that's what I always say about it. It's one of the hardest words there are to spell. But anyway, as a business, efficiency really starts from culture. And culture is probably the biggest driver of efficiency. And what I mean by that is having the right place to work is just not having work for guys. It's more than that. It's way more than that. It is having a place where people want to work and are proud of your company and are telling other employees to come work for you. This is really the key to the beginnings of efficiency, because when you have people that are completely bought into your business, you can do a lot of things with efficiency because we're all on the same page, and culture is all about getting us all on the same page. And we really need to be thinking about these things now because we're going to be coming into a recession. It's pretty obvious that some of this is starting to happen. I'm hearing from contractors that they're down quite a bit or they're flat. In fact, right here in DFW, some of the major companies have already started laying off, which I was very surprised by that. And so why is that the lever they're pulling? Why is laying off the way to go to efficiency by having less payroll? That's not the point here. The point is, how do we build that efficiency within the company so that we can be profitable at a reasonable price, no matter what time of the year it is? And we perfected that over the years with my two companies. Billygo, for instance, has been in existence just over 4 years now. And in our fourth year, our bottom line profit was over $3 million. And this is what I'm really good at, is helping companies understand how to get that much money down to the bottom line. And literally, this is in 4 years' time. And we do this because we really support the people in the field. Our business is wrapped around, the culture part of the business is wrapped around supporting the technicians in the field. I'm not saying spoiling them, making them even more of a prima donna than they may already be. I'm talking about real support and then real ways of helping them do their job without being spoiled, if you will. And we do that through measurement and through efficient measurements. And so even though I'm hearing that a lot of companies are flat or they're down or maybe they're laying off, my 4-year-old company is up 44, 45% in the first quarter. And the reason why we are being selected by customers to do business with us while everyone else is struggling to find customers is we don't have to go out there and compete as much as everybody else does on paying for Google ads, because we get a lot of organic Google or organic customers through Google, Facebook, all those social media channels. And the reason why this is blowing up for us and for people on Sera is because the customers understand when the culture is good, they see it through the representative of your company. I am not Billygo, and you're not the representative of your company. The person in front of that customer is. And if we take care of that person in front of that customer is going to know and feel this, and they're going to tell their friends and family about you. And we've grown this business on word of mouth. In year 5, which is what we say, we're 4 months in, or 3.5 months into our 5th year. And we're probably going to do about 18 million in revenue from word of mouth, from referrals. And we do this because our culture here is incredibly infectious, if you will. It goes from the company into the clients, and it resonates from there. So let's talk about just a couple simple things that we consider as an industry right now. We consider the way we go to market good customer service. Right now, every one of y'all say, my company gives great customer service. So let me tell you what the industry expectation is for good customer service. If you're an AC company, in the summer, you're very busy. If you're a plumbing company, you're probably busier in the fall, spring, winter area, from my experience, because I run both. And so during your busy season, we stack the board up with as many calls as we can, but at the same time, we're complaining we don't have enough technicians. And so that's counterintuitive, right? You're doing everything in the world to get as many calls as you can for technicians you don't even have. And what we do is we slow that process down. We get enough calls for the amount of technicians we have so that we can give superior service. And what superior service is in this industry right now is We're going to get there. We're going to give you a time frame for a 4-hour time frame for our AM, PM, whatever it may be. And then we're late. The only people we're on time for is the first service call of the day. Most of the time we're on time for that. But after that, we're never on time again, are we? I mean, think about it for a second. And we call this great customer service. And so at Billygo, 4 years ago, we didn't have a name. We didn't have a brand. We didn't even exist. We had 0 customers. We never bought a customer list. We never bought a company. We didn't do any of those things. We literally started from scratch. But we started with the mission of having culture from day one and transmitting that positive culture to the customer. We've gotten so good at this that we can literally do 1-hour appointments at our company. Our company closes at 4:00 every day, even in the summer. 4:00 is when we take our last service call, and the guys go home, and we may have an on-call person, but literally we don't run 24/7. And the reason why we don't, because we give exceptional service to every single customer. Just like when you go to the doctor, you want that doctor to spend time with you and listen. And that's why they're always kind of running late. But you got to figure out how to spend time and show value for your customer, but not run late. And the key is listening to that customer, number one, and not selling them. It's if you listen to them, they're going to buy from you. If you sell them, you're probably going to have a lower success rate. And so this is where the culture comes in of teaching your guys that we're not here to sell, we're here to help. We're here to give the best customer service possible. And so why I created Sera, I'm going to show you real quickly. I'm going to share my screen here. I think I can do it. Excuse me if go. And we'll pop this up there. Excuse me, this is in the way. Of course. Okay, so we're looking at Billygo right now. And what I want you to focus on right here is the revenue and the growth. So all the way up till today. So this is right all the way up live to this minute. We're up 44% in what we consider the worst quarter for a HVAC company for sure in Dallas, Texas. I mean, we've had 2 days below 32 degrees. And I think those 2 days combined didn't even add up to 12 hours. Below 32 degrees. So we had 0 winter weather this year for the last 6 months. So we're 3.5 months in, but we are up 44%. But what the key thing I want you to look at, and look how many memberships we've sold in this 5 years. This is, and this is just in the 4 months that we're in, 3.5 months or 4.5, whatever it is. I think it's 4.5 months. We're in April, can't keep up. 521 memberships. These are people that love our company so much that they bought into our membership program. And that doesn't include the 6,000 or 7,000 we've already sold. But the way I know this is really working is when I look down here to opportunities, we've had 3,400 opportunities. If you look at that, that's 10% more than last year. So I am really out there only trying to get 10% of my business from new customers. My members are what's driving this massive growth in the worst quarter of the year. Memberships. And memberships are a big, vital part of our businesses. And they create this stickiness that happens with your companies. And so if you look over here to the right, I have all of my technicians listed here, and you can see their revenues. And I'll get this out of the way. We have a plumber here, does hydrostatic testing. This fella here has already done $750,000 this year. This is a plumber. This is not an HVAC guy selling big equipment. This is a plumber. Here's an AC guy when there's no weather in DFW, already at 400,000. And another one at 3 something, and then another plumber, and then another plumber. And so these guys believe in what we're doing. We are a affordable option for consumers. Our pricing is not out of sight. We don't need to raise prices to cover our debts and our obligations. We build profitability through efficiency and have reasonably priced products. The only lever you have now is to raise your prices if you want to make more money. if you're not using efficiency. And that is why I came back to the industry to teach this, because this is not being taught. And it's a buzzword now. You're starting to see it on these ads now, but we created the buzzword because we created this entire plan around efficiency. So I know we're going to have Q&A here in a little bit. So I'm going to let you look at this for a second. And then, if you have any questions, write them down, type them in, whatever it is the process is for getting questions across. But the point that I'm trying to make here is our customers are spending 31% more with us than they did the same time period last year. This 44% growth is same period time last year. And this company is 4 years old, guys. And we've already had over $3 million worth of business, possibly up to $16 to $18 million before this year's over, and done it all organically through word of mouth, through social media, through organic listings in Google, and a very small PPC budget. And it's because of the culture we've created. These guys that represent and girls that represent our company every day, they love the company. And that the customer picks up on this. And so this is why I wanted to do this today and continue to do these podcasts with Alan, because Alan and I are dedicated to giving our knowledge to you. I want to share everything I know. I've made all the mistakes. So let's just keep you from making them. Let me just steer you away from those mistakes, and let's just go straight to what works. And this is why we're doing this. And so I want you guys to take, I'm fixing to move on to something else, but I want to show you why this makes so much of a difference. Now let's talk about the efficiency of our industry. Gallup poll says that we are 38% efficient in the trades. What that means is 62% of the time your employees are not earning the company money. Think about that for a second. 2/3 of the time that you're paying them on their paycheck, you're really not earning any money. How do we fix that problem? We have a shortage of technicians, right? We don't at Billygo. We don't have a shortage. We have all the techs we want. We have a waiting list. In fact, if I could get trucks, I wouldn't have a waiting list. And why is it that way? And it goes back to efficiency. But the reason we don't have to hire and hire and hire, when people come available, is because we've made our technicians way more efficient. And our efficiency in our company is, I think it's around 87%. And that includes all of the zero ticket tune-ups that we've done the first 4.5 months of this year. Because we get a lot of tune-ups that we do in our memberships. They can call in and get a tune-up, and their equipment's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So we make zero money, but we went out there. However, it doesn't affect our profitability because we're efficient for even when we don't bring in money from the money calls that we do bring in money. And I want to show that to you real fast here. This is called job times. And this is how we double your tech count without actually doubling your techs. And this is one of the most efficient things that you can see from our company. Let's see, we'll do the current year. And this includes every single call that we've done so far this year. And if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, and let me move this to the top now so it's out of the way. You'll see that our company is literally 86% efficient. So in an industry that's 38% efficient, we're more than double that. So that means I basically have 2 techs for every 1 tech you have, even though it's only 1 tech. We are getting that much money, more money from our technicians because of this. As you can see, the numbers are astronomical, even in the first 3 months of the year by these technicians. And so by doing this, we have started solving our tech problem where we don't have enough techs, because we take the techs that we have and we make them more efficient in the field. Now then, this includes every call, zero tickets and everything. I'm going to change one thing on here. I'm going to change this to only the jobs that we sold them, and we did the work. Only those jobs. And look at our efficiency here. 104%. That means every single job we do, we are profitable on at a 104% efficiency. That means that I will get the gross profit from my business because I'm 104% efficient on the work that we sell. That means no one's wasting time. And let me show you what that means. As you look here, we sold 8,900. If you can see my cursor down here at the bottom, that's in minutes there. We know by the minute how much stuff costs. We got it down to the minute, and that's how we help you. Why are we thinking hours when we can think about absolutely every single minute of the day? And so during this first part of this, during this point from January 1 to today, we have sold 8,920 hours and 56 minutes worth of work. It took us 8,595 hours and 51 minutes to do it. We literally came in within 59, 20. We're within 25 hours of perfection on 4.5 months worth of work so far this year. 25 hours from perfection. That's how you build efficiency in a business and make real money. And that's what I want you to understand here. This isn't voodoo, magic, any of these things. This is real stuff. Real numbers updated by the minute, every minute of every day. Sera's smart enough to know, even if you have a helper in a truck, so that you can charge for that helper. Let's talk about that. We've got this job here. This means there was 4 different appointments for this one job. So we know how many times someone has been there. I'll scroll over to this left side and let's just take a peek. And let's learn together what we did on this job. Everything we did on this job. So the original job was a sewer replace repair. That was on 1/3 on January the 3rd. Matthew, the technician, the plumber here, drove 1 hour and 5 minutes to get to that job from wherever he was from his previous job. He worked another hour and 11 minutes. We didn't collect any money. He's putting together a proposal. And so we already have, this is that part of that 38% efficient. This is what we don't charge for now. We do, but you don't, because you don't understand the efficiency of every minute of everyone's time all the time. This is how we help you get there. So technically speaking, if he didn't sell this job, we just created a big inefficiency here of 2 hours and 16 minutes. Now let's go to the next call, which was 1 day later. So we're 1/3 here and we're 1/4 here. He's 25 minutes away this time, and he spends another hour and 38 minutes. And I'm doing this on the fly. So we're 4 hours and 21 minutes into this bad boy. And then Matthew goes back a 3rd time, it looks like, or he does something a 3rd time on the 6th. What in the world did he do? He traveled 23 minutes, but we have no work time. That seems like inefficient data. Well, no, it's not, because all I got to do is go, what did happen? Because we record every move everyone makes. Everything's accounted for. And look what I find. Matthew met with an insurance adjuster and went over the scope of the job. So he did this, and we calculated the time. We calculated his travel time in this situation. However, we did calculate that 23 minute, I believe it was 23 minutes. The 23 minutes that he spent talking to that adjuster, we applied it to the cost of the job. That's accuracy, guys, boys and girls. All right, we sold the job. Insurance said, love it, let's do it. 3 days later, Pedro, the lead tech installer, and his helper, Cody, drove 39 minutes to this job. They worked 9 hours and 22 minutes each on this job. Not together. We count them individually so that we can charge for their time. Remember, we're charging for everyone's time. Even all this time that Matthew was working on this, And all the time that these guys, they worked, their drive time and work time together was over 20 hours. And so we go up here to the job time efficiency, the brief look at this, and we see that all 4 of those appointments, there was 3 hours and 11 minutes of fuel being burned that we need to charge for, of tires being worn down, wear and tear on the vehicle, tech time. They worked 21 hours and 33 minutes, all of them combined, for a total of 24:44. However, Matthew sold 38 hours and 20 minutes worth of work. So we came under budget by 13 hours and 36 minutes. Therefore, on this $11,684 job, if we have our 60% gross margin, which is what we do have, we made that 60% gross margin on this job plus 55% of that in addition to the 60%. Therefore, we made around $8,500 to $9,000 on this job because we were able to track everything and we know exactly what it cost us from a labor point of view and from time point of view. Very soon at the end of this year, we will be able to manage the material as well and give you an exact dollar profit as soon as the job closes. As soon as it's finished, you'll know the exact profit of that job. That'll be soon this year. So already we are providing you with efficiencies that never have existed anywhere else. And this is how we make $3 million a year on an $11 million business. This is how we're going to make over $5 million this year on a $16 to $18 million business. All right, I'm going to stop right there because I know we're getting low on time. I would love to start the Q&A from that, if you would like.
Let me just quickly jump in while Sid, can you monitor who can jump in and throw some curly ones at my man Billy? But very impressive, Billy. I mean, I've been a massive fan of yours, reached out to you probably 4 years ago, might have even been longer now. And efficiencies, I'm glad you spent time on that and showed everyone how this amazing product works, but efficiencies is where it's at. I've been saying this for years with my coaching business. If you can improve efficiencies by 1%, just watch what happens to that bottom line. 2%, 10%. But everyone that's tuned in today, you're seeing what's really going on. And I've never, ever come across a business that is as efficient as Billygo. And just something very interesting as well, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, is this product's been built on your business, Billygo, which started 4 or 5 years ago. And you've built this product, not just on what's in here, but on how the business actually runs. So I think that's quite fascinating. And yeah, we're opening this up for anyone who's got any questions, but maybe while we're waiting on someone to throw something at you, you might like to explain the concept behind how you created this amazing product.
Well, if there's no questions, we can do some more. What time is it?
No, there
plenty
is
of
the
time.
questions. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
they are? Okay. I didn't know. I couldn't tell.
We got plenty of time, my man.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing this, Billy. I mean, I heard all of the great things about you. I appreciate you doing this for us. So I know part of this efficiency thing I've heard that is the way you pay your guys. Do you mind, like, just if you don't want to share the exact way you do it, I mean, just give us an idea on like how do you pay them so they are happy with the company, they get raises? Because I read all the posts you have and all the videos, and you talked about that quite a bit. So I just don't have the whole picture. If you can help us with that, so that
Sure.
would solve the problem for us when it comes to
Absolutely. And so I'm going to share with you the philosophy behind the way I pay and the effects that come from it. And then if you want to see how it is, it's something I have to explain and show you and make, and it's not hard to understand. It's very simple. And so you just get yourself a demo and we'll go through it and show you how it works. It will definitely help you and help your relation with your technicians. So let me talk about that for a second. And the best part about this. So as business owners, we're trying to create ways to be profitable and to hire techs. And so ever since we've had this tech shortage, which is forever, I guess, we create a lot of different ways of paying them or incentivizing them. And then we end up with a very complicated process. And then there's doubt that they're being paid the way they should be paid because it's pretty complicated. You have a commission for this, a different commission for that, a spiff. I don't believe in spiffs at all. I'll just go ahead and say that right now. I'm not saying you particularly. I'm just saying in general, the industry. Okay, so I want to clarify that. I'm not saying you.
I've done it all.
Yeah. Well, yes, sir. And so what we've done here is we've complicated the way we pay. We pay, like I said, we pay different ways for different things. I mean, I've seen companies that my eyes just float around in my head when I'm trying to figure out exactly what they're trying to do there. And, we deduct for materials, we deduct for subcontractors, and all of these things, think about it for a second, is negative. It's negative. So I go out there, I sell this job for $3,000, and you're going to take half of it away from me because I sold something you needed to sell to do the job. So that's the first big mistake. And so for job one is stop deducting everything. Don't ever deduct anything ever again. Okay? Because you're supposed to be on the same team. Your techs and you are all on the same team. But when we have these negative situations in place, I'm going to deduct you from this or that. You're not on the same team, period. And so your culture suffers because they doubt whether or not they got paid properly because it's confusing. And now you have an inventory problem because they're trying not to sell material or not tell you about it so they can get paid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is where we have the biggest problems. And so again, we've created, I'm going to use we, I'm sorry. We've created this situation where it's us against them. And now we have a culture problem. And this is the little things that I'm talking about with culture. I'm not talking about having, balloons and parties every day. That's not how you build culture. It's just the little things we do to ruin it that we've been told this is the way you do it. And without anybody asking any questions about what is it really doing to our company. And so the pay system in itself, it just gets rid of this confusion. And if a guy sells a $3,000 job, and my company and the companies that are on Sera that I explain this to, they get 100% credit for that job, even if it goes south, even if there's a major problem, you lost money on that job. I don't care. You give them full credit for that job. This is where job time efficiency comes in to fix the problems where you don't make money, right? So you can identify them and work on that. Maybe your pricing's wrong is why you're inefficient. Maybe it's as simple as that. But we got to stop confusing ourselves, number one, and confusing the people we work with, number two. And if y'all struggle to get the payroll done by Friday, then your pay system is terrible. Because as you grow your business, you have other layers of management. And you may have a department manager, and that department manager is trying to figure out how to pay these people so they can get sent to the payroll department. And then the payroll department is trying to make sure that it all lines up with everything they have. And then you're spending all these resources and overhead just trying to get some guys paid when you can literally pay your entire company in about 30 minutes using a simplified system that rewards your company and also rewards the technicians in the field. I have some of the highest paying, high producing technicians in the industry because of the simplified system, and they know where they stand. And because our dashboard is live, And as soon as they close the call, that number is added to their sales as soon as they collect money, right? How much easier is it than that to know where you stand as a technician? Oh, I'm at 10,000 this week. I'm making $45 an hour because of the $10,000.
Yep.
And so it's that simple. And that is really it's really not the pay systems all that exotic. It's just simple.
It is simple, but sorry to interrupt there. It just we can use some clarification on if like a salesperson help the technician sell the job. I mean, how is this all work together?
All right, let's look at it like this. You use a technician to go out and he spends a couple hours out there and he realizes he probably needs to set up an appointment for the salesperson to come out. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. And now you've got two people involved in this job, right? And you want to know how to split the ticket or what's the ratio? And then actually, technically speaking, you have a third party involved, which is the installation team.
Yes.
And so let me tell you how Billygo does it. So if the job is $10,000, we'll just make it very simple. The technician that flipped that to the salesperson gets $10,000 credit to his pay. The salesman that sells it gets $10,000 credit to his pay. The installers get $10,000 credit to their production and pay.
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. Probably just me, or is it everybody?
All right. I'll repeat it. That's fine.
Thank you.
So if a job gets sold for $10,000,
Mhm.
your technician should get $10,000 credit for that because he flipped it to the salesperson.
Okay.
That salesperson should get the $10,000 credit for that because
Okay.
he sold it. And that install team should get $10,000 credit for that job because they installed it. It doesn't, these are arbitrary numbers. It is, you sold it for 10,000, that's the revenue. But to share it, they all share it equally towards their pay system, which is what we do, right? So every one of them get $10,000 credit to their individual goals that they have within their pay system to elevate them to the higher level of more pay. It's not rocket science. It's very simple, very easy to understand. And we don't deduct for parts. We don't deduct for subcontractors. We don't deduct if there's a callback.
So if it is 10,000, then let's say the technician get 3,300, the installer get 3,300, or no?
Oh, 10,000 each.
10,000 each of the job I paid on 30,000.
No, think about it like this. The revenue is 10,000, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Each individual team, a tech, a salesperson, and an install team has their own goals within the company. You set goals with you set with these guys. Install team, I want you to put in $1 million a year. This $10,000 goes towards that goal.
Okay.
So that you can get paid more as you reach your monthly goals, weekly goals, whatever. Okay. Mr. Salesperson, obviously you sold it for 10 grand, so you're getting X number of dollars. Mr. Technician, you flip this for 10 grand. So that's going to your goal. I want you to be a $1 million a year truck, a $500,000 a year truck. Here's $10,000 of credit going towards your goal of $500,000 worth of revenue from your truck. All we're doing is, it's not dollars, it's not revenue 3 times. We're giving that $10,000 towards the goal of each individual so that they can meet their goals and the goals that we set for the company. How do I get $781,000 for every truck on the road? Is because they all have their individual goals. And if I was to start dividing all of this up, I've confused them. And I'm not getting this $781,000 per truck of revenue, right?
Okay.
And so very simply, you sell a job, you share that number across their goals equally. But it's only one time for revenue. But this is revenue that is shared equally towards reaching their preset goals. And if people have goals, what are they going to do? They're going to try to achieve them. And if we're there in the company, in my opinion, even if you have a callback, the company must absorb those costs, not the people that do the work. You're the one that took the risk and went in business for yourself. So you need to absorb that, not your employees. And fix your company to where you can afford to absorb it. Right. And then keep empowering them with positivity. And you're going to get the revenues that I get per vehicle. And that's every single truck on the road that I have. I want to get a very high revenue per truck, true revenue per truck. Right. And so last year, we basically did $781,000 per truck. Our goal for 2023 is to do $1 million per truck. So if I add a new technician tomorrow, I know my company is going to grow by $1 million this year. That is being very efficient and understanding what goals are and helping people obtain their goals. And to take it one more level, when we made this money last year in 2022, we take 25% of the profits and we share it with every single person that works in the company. And there's nothing better than getting a check that's 5 figures in size for every single person that works there as a bonus for the year, because we all made a profit together. And so we share it. And I promise you, there's not many companies out there giving away that much money back to their employees. And so now we're all on the same team. And once we get all aligned on the same team throughout the entire company, it doesn't matter if it was a guy sweeping the floors in the warehouse. He still got as much money as the top producer. Didn't matter. We don't divvy it up. They're all individuals contributing to the business. And so this is how we do it. And we made this amount of money because we weren't overpriced. So we closed more jobs. And we weren't overpriced because we knew what we had to do, how much time and how much to charge for those jobs, so that we got more people saying yes, yes, yes. You know, as you go up on your jobs, you close less. You get less confident in being able to sell at a higher price if you're a technician out in the field or a plumber out in the field, right? And so we got to find that balance. And when you find the balance, the efficiency comes with it. And that's what we help you do at Sera. And that's why Billygo was created, so we could prove it to you. Did I help you? Did I help everyone, I guess? Kind of a long-winded way, but I just really want you to understand the simplicity.
So
Thank you for that, Billy. Fantastic. Now, if we got some time, and I'm in your hands, Billy, what time you want to finish, but we've got a question from David. How does the efficiencies work with time versus cost on maintenance and diagnostic? I don't know if David's there. Might want to jump in, but I'm just reading off the questions put forward.
Absolutely. So we all know that when we go out and we do maintenance, there's a probably high probability that we're not bringing any money in, right? You could say 50% of the time we're not bringing any money, or it's 80% of the time. So why don't we charge the customers that are buying from us for that time that we're not bringing in the money? This is where job time efficiency comes in. We're charging for every minute of everyone's time. Remember, we're 86% efficient. So instead of being 38% efficient, because we charge all of the customers for the 0 ticket calls, we can get our efficiency up. And so you have to know what that number is without being overpriced, right? You need to know that sweet spot. And that sweet spot is what keeps your business making money even when you are not making money. And that is really how job time efficiency works, so that you can figure that out. Sera helps you figure that out, where that sweet spot is, so that you can get to that 104% efficiency on all closed jobs. Therefore, we have built in to every job the jobs that didn't pay us. That's built in because we know what our cost is by the minute. Has any one of y'all ever thought about what does it cost me for every minute of the year to run my business? Just the 1 minute cost? Probably not. Well, that's why I'm a kind of a strange fella, because that's what I think about. So that's my job. So, and so I know down to the minute what my business costs me. And I know all of y'all probably are on some sort of flat rate pricing. And I'm going to guess that your pricing is anywhere from $250 to $550 an hour on flat rate pricing. But I'm going to be honest with you and tell you what my per minute cost to run my business for the entire year is $1.01 per minute. So now I need to go and collect those $1.01 per minute, because I know that's what it's costing me, right? And so that's what we do. We break this thing down to you that way. And so if you take $1.01 and put it on an hourly rate, this is my job cost. Okay. Understand that the word I'm using here is my labor cost, not my labor sales rate. My labor cost is $61 an hour. I know that to a T. How do I know that? Because my financial statements told me that's what it was. And that's what we work on. It's getting this job costing to work by the minute.
Fantastic. Thank you, Billy. And thank you for that great question, David. Now, how much longer can you go for, Billy? Because entirely in your hands.
I don't have anything until 3 o'clock. So
okay, fantastic.
I'll always leave plenty of time. So
yep, this is like my mind is blown. And I've been doing this for a long time, not quite the way you're doing it, but this is just amazing. So thank you. And also, for those that have to get away early, I'll give everyone a link where you can jump on, get a demo. And I know me and Billy have talked about this beforehand. If you jump on a demo, I'm sure there'll be a lot more information shared regarding the simplified pay plan, which I find absolutely fascinating. So now Rod's thrown another question at me. Now, anyone that wants to throw something quickly at Billy, just chuck it in the chat. But so Rod, thanks again, my man. Question: how does Sera help with monitoring KPIs like booking rate, conversion rate, average ticket, and cost per acquisition? Now, I've thrown a few questions at you, Billy, but I'm sure you get this a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So KPIs, I mean, when I decided to build Sera, it was all about data, and data is what I run my business on. So data is how you get proper KPIs. And it's very important that the KPIs are correct. This is something that we are very focused on. And so that dashboard I showed you basically shows you most of what you asked in your question. And your question says, how does Sera help with monitoring KPIs like booking rate? So we were able to do that. Conversion rate, that's right there on the dashboard. Average ticket, right there on the dashboard. And it's all live. The second a guy closes a call, we know the answer. And cost per acquisition, and we know these costs as well. And there's many KPIs out there that we've been taught over the years, but I'm going to tell you there's only 4 PIs. 4, in my opinion, 4 really true KPIs that matter. And then the rest of these are PIs. And what I mean by that is you got a key performance indicator, and then you got performance indicators. And these that you listed, in my opinion, are performance indicators that affect key performance indicators. And what are those key performance indicators that we need to start focusing on? We need to start focusing on gross profit as a key performance indicator. We need to start focusing on memberships as a key performance indicator, cash flow as a key performance indicator, and the overall efficiency key performance indicator, and have all of these PIs feed into those 4, because these PIs individually don't affect your financial statement. They just give you arbitrary numbers, but they don't tell you how to fix it. When you roll these up into these 4 KPIs that I listed, you have the information now that will show you how to fix these or tell you if they're good enough. Is that number really a good enough number that you're seeing from these PIs? And so that's one of the philosophies of Sera from day one, is making sure that we always focus on margins, memberships, cash flow, and efficiency. And if you dial those in, big things happen at your business, and that's what we help you do.
Fantastic. So just for everyone that's still with us, we've put a link in the chat. So I would click on that, book in a demo of this amazing product. And look, we've got a little bit more time left. I'm happy to run this for another 10 minutes. And I want to be able to fill as much value as possible to everyone that's taken time out of their busy day to join us. Now, one thing I want to say with me, and I'm sure we've got the majority here are business owners, and my philosophy in life, and I've owned some fairly large companies over the years, and I've been attacked because we were the market leader. We were attacked pretty heavily by our competition and a few other undesirables. But one thing that I never entertained was to criticize the competition. Okay, and this goes exactly my philosophy, where there's some amazing software products out there, and the US is leading the way. The US is so far ahead when it comes to technology in dispatching and business management software. There's some amazing products out there. So without going into detail of those products, I want to say it's worth exploring what Sera can do for your business. And to me, it's been built from the ground up with everything that you'll need to run a profitable business. Now, if I was to talk to anyone in business, it's the profitability of that business is probably one of the most important things, right? The fact that you can pull 20-25% net, and we know it's achievable. I know many businesses, especially in the drain space, that do well north of 25% by chasing higher gross margins. But so what I'm saying here, it's worth a look, even if you're happy with what you've already got. If you're happy with your current product and you're happy with your profit, don't do anything. But if there's one of those two things that you're not happy with, at least click on the link and at least take a look. Let Billy and his amazing team show you a new way of making money. So if anyone else has got any...
We have some more questions here. I like these. I would like to address them if you don't mind.
Cool.
So Rod again says, does Sera provide coaching on how to build one's business after Billygo? And the answer to that is yes. One of the things that we do here is we have Sera Academy, and it is designed to help you obviously work with Sera, how to make it better and implement the things that really move the needle for your company. And that is an ongoing thing that you and your team will go through. We have 24/7 customer support, and our average response time during the week is less than 30 minutes. If you do it overall, including the weekends, it's 47 minutes. I built all of my companies on customer service, and so I built that before I even had a customer. We prepared that and had it ready. And so customer service is what we do, and helping you, aligning ourselves with really good coaches like Alan and Joe Cunningham and Todd Lyles and many, many others that we find the best of these guys as well to work with us. And yes, and Sera will handle the business end of it for sure. That's what we do. We want you to be successful. We get our satisfaction from your success, not from our success. So it's a different philosophy when it comes to software. And then my next question is from Alexandria. When do you think job costing material will be rolled out? Well, that's a great question. I'm so glad someone asked it. And so I don't know if y'all read in the press that we just done an exclusive merger, or we're in the process of doing an exclusive merger with a company called Bluon. And for those of you that don't know what Bluon is, Bluon has been able to catalog every single part for every single air conditioner that's ever been made in the history of mankind. And we are going to build this merge this technology exclusively into Sera. This will be done by the end of this year, definitely before next summer. We will move over to the plumbing side of it as well, right after the first of the year, once we finish the HVAC side. And what this will do for you, we will have what's called perfect inventory. You will be able to keep up with your inventory in real time at all times. That's what's going to allow us this perfect job costing. Not only that, if you have a situation out on the job, you just open up the app in Sera, and it will tell you what, you asked, you put in a model number or whatever, it will populate all the manuals and anything that's ever happened with that piece of equipment. And we will be able to tell you, as of last night at 9:30 Central Time, we rolled out the latest new version of the Bluon app. And now we can deliver parts to you on the job. No more reason to leave the job and have your technicians leave the job. Remember that 38% efficiency? A lot of that's eaten up by your techs leaving the job to go find material. And here's talk about the negativity of that. Your customer's sitting there going, where did Joe Bob go? He told me he'd be gone for 30 minutes. And of course, it's 2 hours because he need to go get a drink. And he's waiting he can't control the line at the place to get the parts. And he's sitting around wasting time twiddling his thumbs, and your customer's wondering where he's at. So we solved that problem as well. And that rolled out last night. We can now deliver parts to you in 30 minutes or less. And you can start doing that now if you want to go ahead and sign up for Bluon. It's a free app right now. So you can go to the App Store, and then all of that functionality and all the data that goes with that will be inside Sera, so that you can get that job costing that you asked about here. And we expect to have all of that up and running, like I said, by the end of the year. Worst case scenario, first quarter next year. But in the meantime, during development, we see these improvements along the way. So last night was this first major release. Next month, in about 30 days from now, you will see the integration of this first thing that released last night inside of Sera. And then every month you will see the progress and as it gets integrated. And so what does this do? Well, to give you a perfect example, if you were, and I'm talking about HVAC at this moment, if you have a technician in front of a Lennox air conditioner and they need a new fan motor, and you get on the phone with your supplier and you say, I need a Lennox fan motor, blah, blah, blah. And then he looks it up and he tells you, sorry, but we don't have that fan motor. But the reality is, and this is what Bluon has proven, there's actually 18 exact motors just like that. It's just not labeled under Lennox and that part number. There's 18 of them on the shelf right now. And the guy told you he had none of them. And he actually had exactly what you needed. And that's what we fixed. Actually, 45% of all distributors in the United States got this software for their companies last night. And so most of these distributors will be using the Bluon Sera app today, starting today. So they will know what they actually have, because we've done all the science to make sure they understand their business better than they do. So, and so I'm proud to say that happened last night. And so many more efficiencies coming through that. And that's how we'll get this real-time gross margin, job costing, profitability live, because we'll have that piece added to Sera. The next question was, does it work in conjunction with other platforms? No, we do not work with Service Titan or anyone else. We're our own platform. Let me just explain the difference, if you will. Our technology is designed to connect dots. So this is modern technology. So the more we build in our software, the easier it becomes to use. With our software, we can do machine learning and automation. They cannot. It's built on an older platform, and the more they build, the more difficult it becomes to use. If you're not experienced that, I think you understand. If you use them, I think you understand what I'm talking about. As they add more stuff, creates more complexity. Ours is the opposite. As we create more stuff, it becomes easier to use. That's the modern technology. Sorry. And that's why we would never partner with them, because they will never be able to do what we're going to be doing with Bluon. It's not physically possible for them to do that, or any of these other softwares, because of the technology. And that is why Bluon partnered with us exclusively, because they saw the way to forward with us and no one else. So to answer your question, there is no, we don't partner with any of them. We are the next evolution of software. Next is, how does Sera enforce checklist, and can text delete that checklist from the jobs? Okay, I love this question too. So now I'm going to use an analogy here to help understand this. How many technicians like checklists? None. What do we do with these checklists when we get them? Nothing. But we make them fill them out. We make them do something they don't want to do. And we don't do anything with the information anyway, right? Let's be honest. Why don't we get this information in the flow of the service call while we're running the service call through the flow and gather all this information? There's no reason to have a tag. The information is gathered the way it should be. You can't progress through the call unless you grab the information. In Sera's tech app, you have to get permission not to get the model and serial number on equipment and water heaters and stuff from the admin, because no one else enforces this. This is what we all want. If we're going to get this data, we need to be able to get it, right? And so why don't we just use the tech app as the way that we get all this information that we need, and bypass checklists? It's basically checklist built in without a checklist, right? And so because I've run these companies and I know how a service call should run, and I know the information we need to obtain, we just built it in the flow of the call. And so our tech app is basically like what McDonald's does when it builds a quarter pounder with cheese. It's the exact same way every time. And that's how they get the consistency. So no matter where you are in the world, that burger tastes the same. It doesn't matter because of the consistency. It's not the best burger, but it's the largest burger chain in the world because of efficiency, guys. That's the only reason. It's because they are very efficient at what they do. They're not the best hamburger at all, not even close. And this is the same philosophy, is if we can be consistent with our text, then we can consistently train our text. And if we consistently train, then we're not all over the place, and everybody understands what we do moving forward. Sera does not need tags. Sera gathers this information live. If you put in there's a water heater that's 7 years old, and you want to do a mailer or some kind of email or text messages about all the water heaters that are 10 years old. You put a 7-year-old water heater in there 3 years ago, and most other softwares. 3 years later, when you do your 10-year-old direct mail piece for 10-year-old and older water heaters, sorry, but that tag's still 7 years old. It doesn't change. And ours information is all live, and it has birthdays. We know the manufacturer, we know the install date based off of information from the plate on the piece of equipment, the water heater, the air conditioners, all of that information we know when it was made. And so this is how we do very clean marketing and understanding what exactly is available to us at all times. I'm going as fast as I can. So again,
I'll just quickly jump in, Billy. I just want to say, for those that want to know, there's a few questions there on Bluon, and Billy may or may not be able to answer them. But I'm going to be doing a podcast with Logan from Bluon, and I'm going to try to bring that forward and hopefully answer all the questions that you want, because he'll be the guy that knows what's going on with that.
This is crazy what's going to happen.
Yep. So that will be one. I'm going to reach out to Logan today and say, come on, mate, let's do the podcast tomorrow, whether he will or not. The other thing too is I just wanted to say that I've had access to even though I don't own a service company, I've had access to Sera Academy. And I just want to say it's an amazing platform you've built in the learning, so much so we've modeled our business. We've taken the same technology and we're using that product to build all of our training for the plumbing and drain industry. So I thought I'd better share that. Sydney might like to also share some details of our podcast, because you will definitely want to go back to a podcast I did with a fella by the name of, hang on, what's his name? Billy Stevens, I think his name is. I did a podcast a few weeks ago. You may want to go and listen to that podcast, because there's some gold nuggets that we threw out that you will want, trust me. So sorry, Billy, back to you, my man. I had to jump in and throw that at you.
Okay. Is there an app comparable to Blue On for tankless water heater parts? I don't think there's anything out there that exists like Blue On. This is truly a unique thing that they've done. Like I said, we're focused on AC first. That's what they cataloged first, and then we'll move over to plumbing at a later date. And so that's what they've done first. And then someone says, does Sera need a tablet, or can it be used done on phones? So we use iPads, and it's for display purposes for the customer. You really can't see much on a phone. You can't give the presentation that we want to give that you can give on an iPad. Now, to answer your question is, why isn't Billy Sera? That's the reason why we don't have it on the iPhone, the technician part of it. However, the technician does not have to take an iPad into an attic or anything to take photos and do all that stuff. They can take the photo. They can take a phone up in the attic and leave the iPad in the truck or whatever, and then all those photos will immediately download into Sera. As many photos as you want, and they're all timestamped, documented for where they are, what day, everything. All that's already existing. We're not compatible with any other phone other than an Apple product. People ask why. I'll tell you why. I mean, Apple has built the best app store in the world when it comes to crashes. And the problem with the other phone brands is it's so many different phone brands that have changed every little piece to fit them. The Google phone is not the same as the Samsung phone, but they're all in the same operating system. And therefore you end up with a less superior product. And so that is why we stick to the Apple product, because it is consistent across all products and it doesn't break. Let's see. And yes, the program, here's a question from Dustin. Does the program present sales options for replacement systems? Absolutely. You can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 different options for a customer in less than 3 minutes. Sera's tech app is so smart. If you put in one thing that you want to sell a customer, it'll tell you what else you need to put in just to make a presentation, all right there. You don't have to go back in the price book at all. It'll tell you what add-ons should be used with that. It'll tell you what your next upgrades are for good, better, best. That's already there. That's makes it so simple. Let me just talk about the tech app for just a second. And we're going to talk about efficiency, right? This is what this is all about, efficiency. Our tech app compared to all other tech apps that are out there, this is what's the difference. First and foremost, we talk about that situation where we had a technician go out and see that he needs to get a salesperson there, right? We talked about that a minute ago. Right now, when the technician goes out there and does that, he's got to call the office to find out what the availability is for that salesperson. Is that correct? Does everybody agree with me on that? He either calls, text messages, or emails, whatever your procedures are. Maybe it's all three of those. And sometimes the situation is those people are super busy because they've got their jobs to do, and now we're interrupting them with trying to schedule in an install or a salesperson. And so we have to wait, or we tell the customer they'll call them back and schedule that. Well, now you've allowed the customer to cool off. And then the second thing is, if you do get the salesperson out there at a reasonable time and they do sell the job, same thing happens all over again when they sell it. Now you're emailing, texting, calling to figure out when you can do the job. You're doing all that stuff again for everything that you need for that job. All of these things are requiring multiple people. How many people are we getting involving in this process of just selling one air conditioner or selling a water heater install? It's a lot of people that we're disrupting their day. That is completely inefficient. In the Sera Tech app, literally your technician can show Mrs. Jones right in front of her the availability of all salespeople. She clicks the time she likes, it's done. All that information is done. No phone calls, no text messages, nothing. Second, salesperson sells that product, whatever you're selling, same thing. Mrs. Jones, when do you want it installed? Here's all of my availabilities. She picks it, done. She's not cooling off. She's not waiting for someone to call her back to schedule at a later time while she's had an opportunity to talk to the neighbor about the brother-in-law she has that could do it cheaper. We're getting this thing nailed down and we're getting it done. And we didn't involve 15 people in the business to do this. This is what I'm talking about, is efficiency and inefficiency. That is the day you start on Sera. We get rid of all that nonsense. We can also send that information of that equipment that you're trying to sell to the warehouse, to your supplier, whatever you want to do. When we get the Blue On app done, we'll even tell you where it's at. It could be in 3 different warehouses and have it delivered to you on the day of the install. Don't even need to bring it into the shop anymore. Take it straight to the job at 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. That's called efficiency. This is what I'm talking about. It's just 5% improvement on this, a 5% improvement on that, and it adds up to a great big number. And so that's how well, and that already exists in Sera now. 90% of that, the Blue On piece is not in yet, but scheduling right in front of the customer. Customer can pay from their portal. We have a customer portal that's built in Sera that lives on your website. We will triple your calls coming in because Sera lives on your website. All customer transactions are done on your website. The average time spent on a website in the industry is less than 30 seconds. The average time spent on a Sera customer's website is almost 4 minutes. Big difference. Because all transactions are done that way. All right.
Can I just throw this one in? And I know there's so much to know with your product, but this one blew me away when I think you told me this years ago, is that the number of touch points on the average job. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, 26 to 28. The number of touch points with Sera is 3 to 4. Is that right? Maybe that is just, to me, that's just mind-boggling.
Well, it's mind-boggling it was mind-boggling for me because I counted the process of how many times someone touches one service call. And it's usually, you're almost correct. It's 28 to 30 touches for one service call by 4 different people, the way we currently run our businesses in this industry. And that's just why everybody's hair's on fire. Wouldn't y'all say your employees in office hair's on fire? I mean, come on, when it's busy, everyone's hair is on fire because there's so many multitasking jobs going on because we just don't have an efficient way to do it. And so one of the first things that I wanted to do is get rid of 30 touches from 4 different people on a service call. That's just ridiculous. You do 20 service calls a day. That's 600 touches by 4 different people that didn't have to happen. And so we let technology do it. And that's kind of in line with what I was saying earlier about being able to schedule a salesperson and being able to schedule an installer. Let's just get those people out of the way and just do it. Let's just automate it. Let's just do that. Make it simple. So that we can track it and see how efficient we are and how often we show up on time and how often we sell, how more stuff we sell because we made it so easy. How do you think Billygo has grown so fast? We got rid of all of the friction that the customer endures to do business with you, to do business with us. We get rid of that friction and we make it super simple for them to do business for us, and they tell their friends. And that's how we grow these companies so fast, is because we're basically providing what the industry considers great service really isn't. And so we just fixed it. We're just solving the inefficiencies of what we consider as great service and actually making it great service. So one real quick thing about Billygo as well, we give $1 back to our customer for every minute we're late. Would any of y'all try that? Would it break you? Probably. We give back a dollar per minute whenever we're late for an appointment. And we have a 1 hour window too. You can do the 4 hour window, whatever you want. But at Billygo, we're always testing stuff, right? So I'm like, all right, well, we figured out how to do it in a 4 hour window. Let's see if we can do it in a 1 hour window. And Billygo does, I don't know, on the average, $1 million, $1.5 million a month, whatever in revenue. And we give away about $6,000 in late fees in 1 month. That's it. No, excuse me, $1,200. It was $6,000 so far this year. About $1,200, $1.2 million in revenue, $1,200 in late fees. It costs nothing because of how well we plan our day. Those people tell everyone about their experience. I beg you to go on Billygo and look at our reviews. You will see that you have paragraphs explaining their experience, not just a 5-star review with, hey, they were great, I'll use them again. No, they write paragraphs about their experience, and that gets shared across all platforms. That is how we grow these companies fast, just by making 5% tweaks every little place. That's all we're doing. I'm trying to go as quick as possible. I said Sera Academy, how does it teach, calculate hour rates and margin pricing? You will know how to do all of that before you even start on Sera. You will know how to do all of that. All of that is set up for you. Does Sera have all manufacturers loaded in with current pricing? Yes, whoever you use, doesn't matter. All we need is the SKU and a price number. And it's that easy. And it's like a 90-second process. You can change your prices in your entire price book in about 45 seconds. Because we have it set up to understand SKU numbers and prices. And then once we finish the Blue On integration, we can update your price book live. I mean, it's just crazy. Does Sera work with QuickBooks? Absolutely. We do work with QuickBooks. We work exclusively with QuickBooks right now, and we will start working with Sage Intacct here in another couple of months. I think that's the end of the questions. Yeah, from what I can see.
Thank you, Billy. Listen, we'll probably have to round up, but yeah, that's been fantastic. And every time I talk to you, I learn something. And I wouldn't say I know it all, but I've been around a lot of really smart people over the years, and you're teaching me business all over again. And congratulations, by the way, with Ken Goodrich and Gettle. That's fantastic for the industry as well. I just wanted to say that. So if everyone wants to give Billy a big thank you for joining us today, I'm happy if you want to unmute yourself. And yeah, this has been fantastic. And thank you for organising Sydney. Thanks for joining us, Billy. And I'll look forward to catching up with you on the next podcast, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your day. I know we're all super busy, and good luck this year. And reach out to us at www.sera.tech, T-E-C-H. And my email is billy@sera.tech. You're more than welcome to email me questions. You don't have to, I don't care. I'm here to help. Just be patient on my replies. It may be 10 o'clock at night before I see it. So pretty busy. So, all right. Thank you all so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Billy. And anyone that wants to reach out to me, Sydney will put some contact details for anything at all. But we've got some really, really good podcasts coming up. And I recommend anyone that wants to learn some of the groundbreaking things that are happening in the industry, jump on the podcast. And if there's any questions you have about upcoming guests or who I should or shouldn't get on, please reach out to me and let me know. So thanks again, Billy. Thanks for everyone for joining us. And you all have a better than fantastic day, right?
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Cheers.